right, Aquarius, I'm going to start your reading by getting a soulmate card because I find these are a little bit more detailed. So I'm not saying that this has to be a love reading, but let's just see if we can get a hint regarding what we're about to see. Okay. All right. You are a beautiful and sensitive soul. Love's objective is to help you remember who you truly are. An eternal being of light on a path to ever greater love. I'm going to get one chakra card. So I think it looks like what this is about is possibly knowing your true self, who you truly are, who you are. You know, as you're not your physical body. This is saying you are a beautiful and sensitive soul. You know, apart from the psychics and the light seers, who has seen a soul? You know, what we think of a soul as something that's invisible to the naked eye. This could also, love's objective is to help you remember who you truly are. This is deep, guys. Let's get a little help from the chakra. Can we get a clarification? Yes, we can. Third eye chakra. Dreams are where your mind translates the divine. So you are also not your brain. You're not your thoughts. Dreams are also, you know, invisible. What's interesting, though, is this is saying dreams are where your mind translates the divine. In other words, it's not saying where your heart translates the divine, you know, or where your, the brain, physicists say anyway, thought is electric. It's electric energy. It gives off electromagnetic energy. So that's why thought can be picked up on a. I'm going to get the name of that machine. Just a moment now. Yes, I'm sure that you guys have heard of an EEG. It is very well accepted that when you're thinking, the brain's electric and electromagnetic signals can be measured using an EEG, which I think it stands for electroencephalogy. I'm really crucifying that word. Just a moment. Encephalography. Electroencephalography. That's an EEG. Sorry, guys. So these are electromagnetic signals that pick up electromagnetic signals when people are thinking. Okay. I think there's something else too, but anyway, there's something else that detects brain activity, but I think it has to do with blood flow and the amount of oxygen changes, you know, in blood flow and oxygen levels in the brain. It doesn't pick up the electric and electromagnetic signals. Sorry. So, what's the problem here? Because when you have dreams, some of them are just absolutely bizarre. I think a lot of you, some of them are not. Some of them are, you wake up and you go, uh-oh, that's exactly what that means. But others, it just seems very, very like somebody was making up a word salad, and it just seems bizarre. That's because it's the brain trying to translate something. The brain alone. So the brain is something physical. So you know where this is leading, I think? That thought is not all physical. Thought is not all electric activity. And I think that has also been proven. In 2021, there was a study where physicists, it was a very well-known study called The Energy of Thought. And basically they concluded that it's impossible for all of our consciousness to be, physically, to be confined to physical things like electric activity, electromagnetic activity. What they found in the study was that thoughts, when you're thinking, of course, so cognitive, when the kind of basic parts of your brain that take in information when you're thinking, consciousness, not using the intuitive parts of your brain, but when you're thinking things that are in your conscious mind, in other words, you can recognize it, it's not buried away somewhere. It's eminently clear in your mind. When you're thinking, so that those thoughts can be picked up as electromagnetic activity. However, what these physicists found in this study called The Energy of Thought is that energy then emanates out into what they called a cloud of infinite energy, or the quantum field, which is not physically located anywhere. It's neither here nor there. Space is not relevant. Distance is not relevant. Energy does not take up space, so there's no mass. So that field, that quantum field, according to these 9 physicists, that's where they believe ideas are retrieved, but that's where they believe that most of our consciousness, our true selves, exists. Anyway, let's keep... It's never a simple reading with you guys. But I have to say something. I always felt very uncomfortable about this card. Dreams are where the mind translates the divine, because, my dreams, most of them don't make any sense. And it's just a waste of time to sit down and try to figure them out, because it's just it's too random. However, that's probably because the part of the brain that's operating at that point, well, who knows? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Anyway, let's start the reading. Sorry, I've been talking so much. So I'm just going to adjust the camera. I have no idea if this is, it could still very well be a love reading. Knowing you guys, it's not. It's probably something that you're excogitating on right now. But anyway, let's have a go at this. I can't help but get one card from the Modern Nirvana Oracle deck. Somebody took my guide about 2 weeks ago, so I am running on my limited memory of what the author of this deck. Here we go. Well, now, reflection. And on the bottom of the deck, perception. It's never easy reading, you guys. Okay. All right. Jeez, that's absolutely incredible. Reflection, perception, incredible. There's obviously a very, it's probably reflection and perception. Jeez. All right, wow, I think I have this. So with perception, you could think of this as our five senses. So in the 3D, we can see, we can hear, etc. All right? So this person obviously is seeing something. They are taking in information. There's also something else there about emotion. But anyway. Now, so this person is perceiving, a wall or a shell or deck of cards there. They're perceiving things that physically exist already. Let's go over here. So reflection, first of all, that is not the real thing. It's an image because it's, somebody, that lady's face is back here somewhere. That's her image, right? So that's not real. I mean, now have a look at it. It's almost like there's energy coming out of her eyes. Do you know that when we ask ourselves, how does, a little tiny, if matter cannot be created or destroyed, that's just a rule of the 3D, by the way. How does a little tiny seed, when you plant it, grow into a huge tree? If you sped up, if you took a videotape of it growing and just sped up the tape, what you would see is something just coming out of nowhere, like magic. Where did it come from? If you really sped up the tape, it would be like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Where did it come from? It came from the quantum field. Now, obviously, part of it, the seed, was physically here. However, physicists now say that so we used to think of an atom as, there's a nucleus and then there's, an actual particle, a membrane and electrons that are physical particles floating around. Physicists now say, no, that's not the case. The electrons are more like a probability amplitude. There's a cloud of energy waves around the nucleus. And when you put this, when a human being focuses on a certain part of the energy cloud, an electron will come into physical existence. Do you see how powerful consciousness is? Focusing, thinking, because that person is awake, the person who's focusing on, they're looking at the at the energy cloud, and they're probably thinking, where's the electron? That is the energy of thought. So I think part of what we're seeing here is when you observe something, when you imagine something, when you picture something, that focus, that energy that you have, it affects what physically manifests. I'm going to go a step further, and you're welcome to disagree with anything I'm saying. Physicists have now said, well, actually, let me just get the quote. It's something like there is not a single particle that could ever come into existence without a mirror. What do they call it? There's a positron, which basically is a replica, an exact replica of the physical thing, but it's in the quantum field, so it doesn't physically exist. Let me just get you the quote. Here it is. There cannot be a single particle of matter without the corresponding antiparticle in the quantum field. You get an electron and a positron from nothing. Now, this is very modern quantum. It's actually not even quantum field theory. It's something more modern than that. Now, left ear ringing. There's something else, though, here. There's something else here. Because there's something emotional about this. And when you think back, a reflection could also be a memory, right? Because I remember reading somewhere. Now, this is a little bit, what I'm about to say is not physics, okay? But it's, it was from, I'm going to get the name of the guy, hang on. So, Dr. James Doty, who is a neurosurgeon, okay? So he's not a physicist, and he's a very spiritual person. But here's what he believes. He believes that in order to manifest something, so let's say you wanted to manifest a new car, he believes that what it requires is, first of all, a very clear electric energy. So in other words, thought. You have to be very specific, logically, practically. The plan has to be specific. Secondly, he says that you have to imagine the thing being into existence. What would you be doing? Would you go pick your friend up for a ride? Start to get the feeling of the thing, of how you would feel if the thing were in existence. And he says that the thought, the energy of the thought, and the emotion, have to both of them have to be there. And I can't remember what the other steps are, but I would suggest sound an awe, early in the morning. There's a lot of other things that you could do, and then you have to detach from the outcome. But essentially what he was saying was he believes that the emotional aspect of it is magnetic energy. The heart, the feeling is magnetic. The thoughts are electric. And he had something beautiful. I can't remember what he said about how it all works together. Anyway, I'm sure I'm missing a whole whack of stuff here, but the other thing is that could represent the positron or the antimatter, the replica, the blueprint that doesn't really exist, but it's there somewhere in the quantum field. Anyway, I have a feeling that this could also have to do with light, because both of these pictures are, the eyes are involved. So it may relate to photons, which, a photon, if you ever hear somebody saying God is a photon, I think that is a pretty cool person, because if you really, really break everything down to try to figure out what is it that runs our bodies, when you get to the electrons moving around, well, what is it? What gives the electrons? Why do they, swirl around in the photons? And photons have never been seen. Einstein said that they were packets of energy. It's light, but it's never been seen. And that energy can exist everywhere in every field. Faster than the speed of light, it behaves as a infinite waveless energy, like a lamnescape. When it's in energy fields that are lower than the speed of light, which is where we reside, our five senses are very limited as humans. In general, some of you really have a wide range of. I can't really say that as a general rule anymore. because of what I've noticed about you guys. But anyway, for example, cats can detect, they can detect some of the energy of thought. They can detect thought, which exists in the quantum field. And snakes can too. So, the other thing that this could be is something about, notice how there's something coming out of his eye, and there's something coming out of her eye. And the old school physicists always said, and I think they still do, oh, photons, photons are here to help us detect and see things. We can't create photons from our eyes, but just Google that and you'll see that some researchers are changing their mind about it. So perhaps, my God, what this could be, I just realized something, I'm just proposing this here. Perhaps the reason why, when a human being focuses on a certain portion of the electron cloud, perhaps there are some photons, which is God energy, emitting from our eyes, and maybe that's why maybe that's why the electron blinks into existence. Okay, so I'm not going to ask any particular question here. I'm just going to ask for a specific, relevant, as coherent as possible and simple for me to understand. Can we have an enjoyable, truthful, inspiring reading? Maybe I'm asking for too much here. And may I please have cards that I can show me the easiest version? I'm feeling like 3 hard and 2 soft, okay? 2 more hard and then 2 soft. Thanks for watching, guys. One more hard and 2 soft. All right, and 2, please. Where do we start, Spirit, please? Here we go. Okay, right here. Whatever this is, right here. Wow. Okay. Amazing. Now, just before I start in on this, I'm going to plug that thing that went back in because it's losing power. 1 second, guys. So you'll recall that we were just talking about how a particle, comes from, cannot come into existence unless the quantum field were there. In other words, the source of everything under the sun, in other words, on this earth, in the 3D, comes from the quantum field. And in fact, what's happening right here, remember how I told you that when the energy of photons exists at vibrations that are faster than the speed of light, what happens is they become a wave, but it starts looping over itself, and it becomes a lamnescape. The wave looks very different. That, it's not just the infinity sign, but it represents how photons, how they appear. Well, we wouldn't be able to see them, but how they behave, how light behaves at these higher speeds, how photon behaves. It becomes infinite, waveless energy. So, in other words, that describes the quantum field. Infinite waveless energy means that there's no mass, space isn't relevant, distance isn't relevant. I find it very hard to imagine, but what I do know is that it's because space is not relevant, energy does not need to take up a finite amount of space. In that realm, whatever it is, two things could walk right through each other. In other words, it's not relevant. Mass is not relevant. However, things cannot be physically seen. They can't be detected by us when energy is in that field. What this card is all about is, we were just talking about manifesting. This person is using their conscious mind. It's a good use. It's the best use of the conscious mind. Why? Because he or she has control over it. As long as this person is manifesting something good, that won't. But what's on the table here? A lot of people say, "Oh, this is it's there because to show he doesn't need to do any work." Well, yeah, that's true. But also, these are things that he wants or she wants to manifest. This is what this person is thinking about and picturing. This is the field of attention. In other words, it's kind of like having a vision board or a list of things that you want to manifest. So what's happening here is this wand, both the tips are the same. Evolution and involution. There's this constant stream here from the manifest to the unmanifest resurrection, and from the unmanifest to the manifest. Although we like to deny this, physicists say that's exactly what's happening. Now, so he's got a little finger there pointing down to the ground. According to weight, this is supposed to represent, I want to see it physically show up, because we associate the ground with physical reality. So this is something like a prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, or the quantum field if you don't like saying heaven. So he's channeling. Now, there's something else that's really, and now I know why this Page of Wands is there. So we know he's using his conscious mind. He's picturing the things. He is aware, so it's the best use of the conscious mind. But let's put her over there. What's missing? This, I think, and I would call this passion. This, look at the colors here. It's hot. I noticed there are pyramids there. Jeez. Okay, there's something relevant about those pyramids, because when I'm doing a reading and I notice something that I haven't noticed in years, it's relevant. We'll get to that in a moment. So if you think of when we think about passion, and especially these orange and amber colors, I think mainly about the sacral chakra. So that is right above the root chakra. The root chakra is the first one, the one associated with security, redness. Perhaps he's feeling very secure. But the sacral chakra is the next one up, which is around, if you were to take your fingers and put them on both of your hips and then just travel inward and where your fingers meet, that's around the energy center of the sacral chakra. And, one of the ways that you clear that area is you imagine something very orange or a flame, amber. And these are the colors here. And there's heat here. Now. by the way, just before we go to the Page of Wands, one of the best quotes for the magician here comes from the Book of Formation, or the Sefer Yetzirah, and it's where they transcribed the Hebrew letter Bet, B-E-T, which normally means house, but they gave it a meaning as being the transparent knowledge, or the transparent intelligence. Transparent intelligence. So the unseen, right? What transparent, you can't see it. Out of nothing comes something. That's another quote for the magician. Out of nothing, no thing. It's not that the quantum field is meaningless. There's just no matter. That energy does not need space. So if we think of things, matter as things, out of no thing comes something. All right. Now let's look at some of the symbolism here. First of all, when you see the Page of Wands, all right, this is a message that is incoming. If it is a message at all, it's incoming to you, all right? It's not outgoing. Now, have a look at this red feather. So what weight, according to his, the 1906 guide, that red feather there is supposed to represent the ability to communicate with the gods, to communicate with the spiritual world. Now this page, if this is a message, by the way, this kind of message is traveling quickly. Regarding messages, the Page of Wands is, well, all of the pages can indicate messages, but this message where we've got a wand, the Eight of Wands has to do with travel, speed, direction. Sometimes it can have to do with an electronic message. But this could be a message coming in, and it's usually good news. Very quickly, something traveling very fast. Now, if we are looking at a reading, I believe this reading is about you manifesting something. It could be manifesting a message, but the magician, if we are to ask ourselves, where is the magician on the tree of life? Sorry, this is so torn up. The tree of life, you can imagine up here, is the quantum field, is spirit, is God, okay? Here, Keter. Is that actually, I gotta put on my glasses, I can't even see. I believe that is Keter. Yes, it is, okay? So, right here, we would be in the quantum field, all right? And actually, this is top three, we're in the quantum field. We're not in at the 3D here. Well, here is what we call the Great Father, Hakma, so you, the Fool, you've carried an energy of spirit down to the magician, all right? By the way, you're the person. See this wand? Up here, the energy of Keter, it goes into the wand. It gets to Hakma by the Fool. That's your pathway. Anyway. But remember that I said, what's this person doing? They're picturing, focusing. They have the idea, they have the in their head of what they want. There is the idea right there. There's their field of vision. Now, so if you are to, sort of get a definition of what Hakma means, you'll get something like the seed, where the idea here is where something is going to begin, but it's not in physical existence yet. It's the spark of creativity, or the planting of the seed. I'm just going to get a little bit of a better quote. The initial seed of an idea. Okay, so now here's what's incredible. When we go to the Page of Wands, so we already know that this feather is indicative of her ability to communicate with, the gods, another realm. Well, this type of page, the Page of Wands, one of the best quotes for her is that she is the fire that sparks the creativity. This is supposed to be very raw, condensed, pure, unadulterated inspiration energy. That's why some readers call it. I love the way Astrea. I don't know if you listen to Astrea 5D, but when she sees a card like that, she uses the word innovation. It's exactly what it is. It's a fresh idea. That idea you've come up with on your own, and you probably drew it from the quantum field. That is your idea. That is a fresh idea. All right. You see, if somebody had gotten the idea by getting on the internet, I'm going to get some ideas and some inspiration, that's not really creativity. Because, as they say in the Bible, everything under the sun, in fact, the Bible says nothing is created, nothing new is created under the sun. That sounds shocking, doesn't it? Nothing new is created under the sun, meaning in the earthly realm. The creativity is drawn from the way that you're doing it here. And for you, this is just natural. It's just something flashed. There was a flash of inspiration here. Probably because your crown chakra is open. It could be something that spirit, handed, or an ancestor, popped in your mailbox, Now, this is really incredible so far, this reading. Look, for some of you, there is very, very good news coming in. Something may just literally, suddenly pop up. It could be an email, a phone call. It is really something that you want. It's something that inspires you. And in this context, I believe it's a complete surprise. If we're looking at it this way. But I think this mainly has to do with the fact that you manifested this. The page also wants to expand her spiritual mind. And now I believe the pyramids are going to tie this all together. So remember we were talking about photons. And how, God is light, God is a photon. You don't have to accept that, but, it's just a suggestion. So there's a couple of things. Just have a look at all the lines and the borders, around these. It's all red and orange. It's kind of a wavy, energy. But these are definitely pyramids here. So, just in a very general sense. Sorry, guys, the device overheated. Okay, so lastly about this split, what's really interesting about the pyramids. So there's something about, I don't know a lot about this theory, but there's something about the shape, there's something mystical about the geometry of a pyramid, the acute angles, and for example, Native Americans, that it's believed that it kind of looks like a teepee, right? There is a theory that the reason why Native Americans sat in teepees it had something to do with their ability, the shape of the teepee, help them connect with the heavens. And I believe there is some kind of theory that, there's a whole whack of theories about the pyramids. I know they're associated with the sun god, so there's the idea of solar energy. But there's something about the geometry that is supposed to be associated with reaching a higher realm of consciousness. All right, now, so just on a very plain, practical, mundane level, you are manifesting something. Something's coming in, and you are using your mind. It's the correct use of the conscious mind, and your mind is aligned with, you're also passionate about it, and it's an original idea. You're not copying anyone. All right, show me more. Good Lord, this is really cool. That may be the reading right there. Okay, no, there's a definite split right here. Oh boy. Well then. I'm immediately seeing this checkered section is supposed to represent a portal to another realm. This may have to do with your ascension as well. Beam me up, Scotty. Really though. Really. Sorry, guys, the device keeps overheating. Now, notice the shape. We've got 10 pentacles here, okay? Have a look at the shape of these Sephira. 10 Sephira. 10 pentacles in exactly the same. That was done on purpose. Wait did this on purpose. The idea here is, down here is the final, this is where something is totally, fully manifest. The ultimate, the final stage of creation. It's completely in the physical. This card is very different from the Ten of Cups. There's not necessarily any love in this card at all. The name of this card is Lord of Wealth. It mainly has to do with a lot of money, manifestation. It can have to do with, things being handed down through ancestry and ancestors. There's something weird about that man and that woman because they're not really together. They're actually just passing by each other. But what I'm thinking that this could mean here, because one of the really sarcastic remarks that Arthur Edward Waite made about this card, he just simply said, it will derive its value from the cards around it. Well then, I would say that what the message here is, I think, if this has no value but for the cards around it, and I think I agree with him on that, guess what's giving something value here? Not the idea, the innovation, the invention, the creativity. That you came up with it. The substance, the something. So, what I think the message is here, part of the message is that when you start out, and when you don't copy other people or look for ideas or inspiration, all these stupid websites, that People are just going to sources to figure out what to think. Here, somebody is literally, it's their own idea. And no, they didn't get it from God, because this person is one with the divine. So this here, oh my goodness, the message is, this thing that you're creating on earth, it is new. It's new because of the idea that the originality, the spark of inspiration, it was yours. It was original. It was creative. And that came from the divine. If someone had gone to some website for inspiration or something, that would have no value. Nothing new is created under the sun. In other words, in the 3D, by copying people. This was created in the quantum field because you look at your feather there. All right, so that's a pretty cool thing for Waite to have said. It derives its value from the other cards. In other words, so what? If something was bought at, Tiffany's, or if it's a Cartier, or, I don't know even who the top labels are now. It's frightening how something can have value just because of a label. What? Anyway, all right. Let's see if we can get one more. I just think that this is a huge, vote of, affirmation and encouragement. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Oh. So this means this came from God. There's the portal. So for some of you, there could be an ancestor that is something. No wonder we saw dreams where your mind translates the divine. There is some wish being granted, a gift being given, and I do believe that it's from an ancestor. I do believe it could be God. I mean, all figures with a white hair and a white beard in tarot can represent God. But I think the message here is get ready to take. The idea here is to expect it and be ready to take it. It's coming in. The timing is just on. Look at the little white castle there. There is a huge, huge opportunity coming in for you. And I think that you're going to make a lot of money, even though that wasn't your goal. It's something that it could be something small that you started doing just because it had this innovative idea. But this is huge. Also, there are 8 leaves that have worked themselves off that rod. And we are supposed to make a direct association because of those 8 leaves that have worked themselves off the rod. It is related directly to the 8 of Wands. So there is some communication coming in. There is a victory. You're going to hit the target. The 8 of Wands, often, an idea, something is set off the wands. They're beautifully shooting through the air, and they are going to come to rest right exactly where you want them. To see if there's anything else about the Ace of Wands here. So I think what this means, because the Ace of Wands, all these aces that, where the hand is coming from a cloud, that's Keter, that's God. So on the Tree of Life, here's where all your energy is coming from. It's going straight to Hakma, and you're using passion and direction and focusing, and the 10 of Pentacles it represents results, the lots of money, but it's a physical manifestation. It's when something physically manifests, and it's the final stage. So I believe you have the ability to manifest something very, very quickly. Very quickly. And it is because I believe of this. It's your originality, this spark of creativity, and your ability, to that portal there. You've got a portal to another dimension there. It is, so if you're looking around right now and you're thinking, well, I don't have anything, but this represents potential energy. The raw, unadulterated, before it goes to Hakma. Well, it's right there. It isn't in the manifest, but the potential there is massive. There is also a lot of energy of victory in this opportunity, victory, success, guaranteed success, and speed, focus, passion. All right? And originality. Some of you may also be switching professions. You could be becoming a motivational speaker. There's something here that you are meant to do. All right? But you're going to have lots of money. Anyway, guys, that was just incredible. Shall we get one? Yeah, let's get one. Let's get one more card. I know we started out with one of these, but any last guidance for Aquarius? Okay, now sometimes I don't, get the right card. So all of these messages are useful in some way. So we'll just, wow, listen to this. Trust in the healing power of love. So by the way, guys, this could very well be about manifesting a commitment or a proposal. For it is only through love that happiness is possible. Observe all that transpires, but don't get emotionally attached. The storm will clear. You can be of assistance to the one you love only if you remain positive. So it looks to me like you could be in a situation, if this is a love reading, everything could look like it's in a mess right now and there's nothing. But focus on the love, focus on get your vision board, imagine how you want it to be, and remain positive. Don't allow the mind to go all over the place into the storm. And the love, there's the feeling, the mind, the focus, and the remaining positive and trust. So for many of you, this is all about a healing of a love relationship. I just want to say one more thing. Some of you have really faced some very unfair things regarding your family in the past, because I've been doing a lot of personal readings. You have every right to go through those emotions, get angry, let the emotions come up. Let it just, all your feelings are valid. I believe that there is a time, to trace it, face it, and erase it. So, some of you are only just now recognizing how unfair, something was when you were a child, and some of you are angry, and I'm right there with you. But remember that whatever happened to you physically, it really didn't happen to the real you, because the real you can't be hurt. You're a soul. You got a body here because you need a reference point, something to, scoot around in. but they couldn't change you or affect the real you. They can't touch you. They don't know who you are, you know. So those experiences have only made you, it's upped your cash. It's embrace the past. Embracing the past doesn't mean you have to love it. Own it. Just say, that's my past. Yes, that happened. You know, what do you want to talk about? And it makes you much more. It gives you substance, and it gives you the ability to help people, you know, who have gone through the same thing. Aquarius, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Bye.